If you've ever had
just see what's going on, and you can't get enough of it on YouTube or anywhere else. I mean, the forum is everybody is sharing great stuff, great articles, great information, great videos that they're creating on their own. So I'm always seeing stuff that I wouldn't normally see because I don't have eyes in the back of my head. Well, I do have eyes in the back of my head, but I don't have eyes going around me 360. I don't have the energy to be awake for 24 hours. But it's great that people are sharing stuff like this. And this is about the QR code. So a lot of you are familiar with the QR code, right? We've all seen it now. It's been integrated into our society. You know, you go out to Chili's or you go out to a restaurant now, they actually want you, instead of giving you a physical menu, they want you to scan with your phone the QR code to bring up the menu on your phone. This is all preparing people for the mark because the QR code is really an identifier. And I'm going to show you that if you don't understand what it is, because a lot of people remember in the beginning of a lot of people, you know, getting ready to talk and speak of the mark, one of the things they started talking about in the 80s was about the barcode. And people were thinking the barcode is the mark. Well, we're kind of seeing that in play now with blockchain and things like that. So people don't have the greatest of understanding of it. I know a lot of people believe it's the magic potion, and it all ties together because the identification card, which is something that'll be scannable, is something that's going to be in your DNA code. Now, people around the world are continually turning a blind eye to what's going on and thinking that this has happened before and things have happened and it's not the end. It is the end. It's very, very near. And we know that because one, not just because of the technology that they have, because we know they've had technology in place for a long time, but the fact that they're getting away with doing this technology and the fact that people want this technology and the fact that people are so dependent on this technology. So the QR code is an identifier. It's going to lead to a digital identity. And this is a very interesting thing that this subscriber posted about the UCF football team. This is a college football team that instead of having jersey numbers, they're every sports team, right? Jersey numbers, Mickey Mantle to Michael Jordan. Everybody knows, oh yeah, number 23, Michael Jordan. This is the beginning of this. Getting rid of numbers and then using QR codes, custom QR codes. So literally during a football game, you'll be able to scan one of these players, and what happens? Their bio comes up. Who is he? Where is he from? What's his favorite ice cream? Does he like to be tickled? I mean, just the most ridiculous crap. This will be how this starts, getting people used to this. And we're already seeing it because they put QR codes on everything now. Like I said, they have menus that pop up. You could see inside of shirt labels. I don't know if anyone's noticed, like Ralph Lauren inside of shirt labels has the QR code. So you scan it, so like you could be out and be like, hey buddy, I like your shirt. And then you, like a loser, you would scan the guy's stinky shirt. And then on your phone, a shirt would pop up in case you want to buy a shirt. Well, this is the indoctrination of this and preparing people for this. So let's start here with the UCF football team. Take a look at them, how they're trading in their numbers for QR codes. And we've seen this throughout time, right? Recently, I should say, with people getting QR codes even tattooed on their bodies. And a lot of people have talked about this on their own channels. I've talked about it. A lot of you talked about it, obviously, in the forum on the website here on YouTube, about the QR codes and people getting the tattoos and talking about it being the mark. Well, it's close because we know that it's going to be inside of you, that this is going to be in you. You're going to have nanos in you. You're going to be controlled. Your DNA is going to be manipulated. You're no longer going to be human. But this all ties together with what it's going to be like, indoctrinating and normalizing this so that people are prepared for it and they're not scared of it. They want to get people on board, so it's like routine, like tying your shoes. I'm sure the first time, it's like the first time you do anything, right? You're afraid, you're like, whoa, I don't know how to swim. I don't know how to, dive off a diving board. Well, if you do it 5 times, you're like, okay, I can get used to this. And then a year later, you're like, you don't even think, you just do, right? Well, it's the same with stuff like this, with new technology. They have to get you used to it. When the phone first came out, people weren't in Facebook. They were like, I don't want to do that. I don't want people to. Now it's like, I don't care if they have all my info. In the beginning, people were like, I don't want to go on the internet or Facebook. I don't want to put my credit card online. I mean, now everybody has it, right? Well, that's because it's how indoctrinating you works. It gets you desensitized and accustomed to it. You're going to see that with the QR code. And here's an example, even from Drew Barrymore. Apparently she has a show. But in doing and looking into some of this stuff, I wanted to see some celebrities if they were getting the tattoo. I saw this clip about people getting it on their skin, and they're like hesitant. They're playing the role of, oh, I'm hesitant about, because they want people not to think it's being forced on them, and they want it to just get these seeds planted in your head. And here's Drew Barrymore, of course. I'm surprised that we don't see her handler, Steven Spielberg, Stephen King, around. Maybe they are, maybe the producers of the show. And they're talking about the QR code. And well, let's listen to this very, very, very manly man discuss it.
There's a new tattoo in town. Did you hear about this one? Vice reports the trendiest tattoo of the moment is the QR code. Little codes at the table of the restaurant where you can scan out to find what the appetizers are. Or you know those little codes.
But why? What's on it? Like when you scan your body.
That's the point. People are getting the personalized QR code that will lead them to their resume, their favorite song, proof of vaccination.
Oh, man. Hard to watch, I know. But you see how they're normalizing the QR code. Now, some of you are like, well, what's the QR code have to do with, you want a deeper breakdown of it with blockchain. I found a clip that I'll show you here so you have a better idea of how this is going to work with the mark and how your digital ID, okay, this is them talking about it being something on your phone. And then you have to think about how it's going to be inside you. And we already know that people are willing to put things inside them, especially things that they wouldn't even have to know that it's in them. They'll just naturally be in them. But this is what it will be able to do. And this has to do with cryptocurrency and blockchain as well. And this video is, of course, from Billy Yates over at Microsoft. Wink, wink, he doesn't supposedly work there anymore. Give me a break. But here it is.
Every day, we carry wallets full of cards. However, only a select few, like government IDs and credit cards, are widely accepted. Our society has established global norms for how we present and verify the credentials these physical cards represent. But there's no real equivalent for digital credentials. Why not? First, there's no standard mechanism for issuing digital cards. To issue universally acceptable digital cards or credentials, we need digital identifiers that individuals can own, independent of any entity, organization, or institution. Currently, we use email addresses and phone numbers as identifiers to access websites and apps, but our access to these identifiers and our personal information is at the mercy of service providers who can revoke them at any time. Secondly, there are no universally accepted standards for expressing, exchanging, and verifying digital credentials across organizational boundaries. This is all about to change. A new form of digital identity, based on emerging standards such as verifiable credentials and decentralized identifiers, can enable such digital credentials to work everywhere, be more trustworthy, and respect privacy. Here's how it works. Meet Alice. Her new digital wallet empowers her to own and control credentials. Since it's not tied to any one organization, authoritative sources can confidently issue standards-based credentials to Alice. When Alice presents these credentials, websites and apps can check that they're valid, for example by confirming with a university that she's a student there, and then grant access accordingly. While this process may be easier, how do we know it's trustworthy? Decentralized identifiers leverage proven cryptographic systems. When Alice presents her credentials, her digital wallet generates a unique identifier and signs it using a private key, secured by a biometric proof or PIN that only she knows. The uniquely paired public key is published to a distributed ledger. Alice can present her digital student ID card to a bookstore, and before granting a discount, the bookstore can confirm that the university issued the card to Alice. This experience mimics what Alice does today. She can digitally present and authenticate a set of verifiable credentials just as she would present a physical card. And she can revoke them with a single click, just as she would return a card to her wallet. Best of all, these digital cards are private. This puts Alice in sole control of her digital identity. She makes the decisions for it. Verifiable credentials will make it easier to stay in control and help unlock a more trustworthy internet that respects privacy for all of us.
So people need to become aware of this because your digital ID, it's almost like, your phone number. People are so attached to their phone numbers. Like I see people now, they don't want to give up their phone number. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, who cares? It's just a phone number. Well, no, all my friends, they know me from this phone number. And this is a number I've had since high school. And you're like, what? Okay. Yeah, I've gone through 10, 20 phones in the last 10, 20 years. I don't care about the number, throwaways and things like that. But people identify themselves with a specific number, their phone number, right? And even in that video, you see how they kind of talk about, well, online, you're kind of like, what's linked to you? What's personal to you? Well, your phone number is, or your email, right? Those are precursors for what is coming with, a QR code. And of course, this being integrated into your DNA. So it's unique to you. And getting people with this football jersey, getting people used to this is extremely important. You will see more and more teams phase this out and instead of numbers, use personalized codes. Everyone has their own. So it's your own specific one. So you know how even with sports jerseys, it's like, all right, the guy's on the team, he wears a number. Well, the guy leaves the team, he goes somewhere else, somebody else gets his number, right? It's constantly, the number gets reused unless they retire the number kind of a thing, right? You understand that? Well, with this, there is never retiring your QR code. It's you. It's your personal code. And that's what they're going to market this as. Unhackable. Right? Nobody can hack into it. No one can steal it from you or take it from you. It is you, your personal identification code. Right? And this has everything to do with connecting humanity to the internet as well. I feel like this is an important video to share with people. I know that people don't understand this stuff very well, and I think that they kind of brush it off and like, that's silly, the QR code, because again, they're desensitized now to the QR code, and they're going to continue to be desensitized to it. And they don't realize with blockchain and how this is all going to work together with digital currency, digital identity, and hopefully this is a way to at least get them to start thinking about it and to come to the realization that this is happening. This is occurring. This is prophecy being fulfilled. And people need to be aware of it because they can't mistakenly go in here. And I guess they wouldn't mistakenly go in because they would have knowledge of what they're doing. They have to just be aware of this and realize that this is a spiritual war. And these people want total control of you. And that is exactly what this would do. They pretend, of course, and they'll market this as if it's your own personal thing and it's nobody else's, that you're in total control. You'll be in zero control because you'll be hackable by governments. You will be hackable because you will be connected to technology. But they'll tell you, of course, that it's you, it's your own unique you and all this other crap. And people will fall right in line like they always do with whatever Big Brother says, which is never in their best interest. Reminder, check out the website at callfornuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. I hope to see everybody over there. Again, I want to thank the subscriber, Dog Stang, who posted this over on the website. I wouldn't have seen it if he didn't post it. So I actually was thinking about doing a video on the QR code. So just kind of, that's how it works sometimes. I'm like working on something or thinking about something and how I could piece it together. And then on the website, a lot of people are thinking the same types of things and seeing the same types of things. And then somebody shares it. I'm like, okay. That makes sense. And that'll be a good way to kind of talk about this stuff because this is a current thing that's going on with the QR code. And this is the first that we're seeing in sports with numbers. And who knows what else we'll see with people in their suits having a QR code on the back of their suit. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous.